Episode number 25 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
And this is Mike Ship-It Snyderman.
Yes.
I'm giving myself a nickname, man, just in case. You know, I'm in Vegas. Good things could happen.
Oh, not only are you in Vegas, but you are in the Rio, coming right now from the what is that? The Amazon room, or where are you?
I'm in the hallway next to all the rooms. I tried to find the quietest part. First of all, what's your overall anxiety level, Steve? I mean, I know you can deal with fires and earthquakes and nuclear holocausts, but a little background noise in a podcast might be more than you can take. I mean, you're so obsessive over this. I'm terrified of, your overall mental, emotional health,
You know what it was for me when you said that? I was picturing like slot machines and craps tables in the background and everything. This is like heaven compared to
that, man, is capturing the excitement of the milieu. Poker related, but
the essence of it. But just to fill you guys in, we haven't recorded in about a month, although you guys haven't missed an episode. It's been a month since Mike and I have taken to the airwaves. The last one was with Carlos, and now a lot has happened in the last month. I went on vacation down to El Salvador. I'm back. Mike you've gotten backing for $13K. Is that what it is? You're backed 65%. You got 35% of yourself, and right now you're at the Rio. Drove there overnight. This is exciting.
Yeah. First of all, am I talking to Cyborg Steve, or is this the real Steve?
This is the real Steve.
Okay, because I Googled several times. I haven't even mentioned this to you, and this is no joke. I Googled obituaries, Steve Barton.
Okay.
Because I couldn't get in touch with you for 2 weeks. And for some reason, the thought that your phone was gone just didn't occur to me. I'm like, because normally, you're like texting me twice a day. Hey, Mike, just bought some socks.
Yeah.
And then like an hour later, Mike, you haven't responded. What do you think about the socks? You know what I mean? We're in like constant contact. So
yes.
After like a week, I'm like, wait a second. At first, I'm like, maybe she's pissed off at me. I did something wrong. I'm like, no. I said, I'm so goddamn adorable. No one would possibly want to disencumber themselves of my friendship. So death seemed the only other possibility. So, and I didn't really know how to deal with that emotionally or whatever. It was weird. Yeah, I don't know. It was like I even contacted Jacob and Doug. I'm like, if you hear from Steve, can you let me know?
Yeah.
And like 3 different times, I Googled, Steve Barton obituary. Then I was like, Steve Barton, El Salvador, dead. And man, I was like, but the bad thing is right before you left, I was more concerned, of course, about my own reputation. I was talking about how, El Salvador is a death trap and all this kind of stuff. Like, not even really joking, just like genuinely, I'm so skittish about everything, in a panic over, these kind of places. But anyways, you're still breathing, which, 99% of us consider a happy ending to the story.
Yes. Yeah. No, my buddy and I, we rented a truck. We're down at a local surfing town down in El Salvador, and we found one of the local surfer guys, and we're like, hey, we really want to explore your country because it's extremely small. It's probably bigger than Rhode Island, but not by much.
Huh.
And we're like, we just want to explore it, but we don't want to walk. And he said, okay, well, you can rent my truck for $35 a day. And we're like, all right, cool. So didn't have to give him a passport or anything. And we just took off, and we went down to some of the beaches. And anyways, as we were driving along, during the night, we had to take a leak. So we stopped big surprise. I had to take a leak. We had to stop, and I got out of the truck, and we did our thing, got back in, and then we drove another hour and a half and got home. And then I realized once we got back to our place, I didn't have my phone. And I'm like, where could it be? And the only thing that made logical sense was I must have had it on my lap when I got out of the truck, and it fell out. And of course, that night it rained, and it rained really hard. And we got up the next morning, drove back down there to where it was, and sure enough, that's where the phone was. It was sitting right there on the side of the road, right where we stopped, and it was all wet. And by then it was about 10 or 11 in the morning, and the sun had just been beating on it. And it was so hot that I couldn't pick it up with my hands. I had to like grab a leaf and pick it up and just throw it in the truck until it could cool down. And for about half an hour, you press the thing on there, or you press the home button, and it said, device is too hot to operate, must wait to cool down. I'm like, oh, this thing is done. Right. And anyways, after about half an hour or so, it kind of works. I'm able to get text messages, and I'm able to get phone calls, and every now and then I can make a phone call, but it's parts of the screen don't work. So it's like you're texting, and you kind of have to flip the phone the other way if you want to use the letter E, and then flip it right ways up if you want to use the letter R. And anyways, I got a new phone in the mail.
You know what's interesting about this story? No, that's a question. I'm wondering.
Absolutely nothing.
I'm sorry. It's so much fun to rag out you there. Let's move on to poker here.
Yes.
No, but quickly, you're at like my last month has been kind of crazy. I think the last time, the Carbon had their online poker series, and I have to have just broken a record they had. They have like 70 events, and I actually won 4 of them.
Wow. Wow.
I won a $500, a $200, and each of those had probably just 150 people in it or something. But then I won another, I think a $33 that had like 1,000 people in it or something.
Nice.
Or I don't know. I mean, seriously, that's got to be a record, right?
It's got to be something.
But the last, I mean, because I probably only played like 40 of them. So my account on Carbon, the money which I may never see, is now 50,000. And I mean, I'm in Vegas. I'm in a good mood, but all that kind of sucks. And this is kind of old news now, but we were thinking of talking about. I always said I wanted to bink at least once one of the big weekend tournaments.
Yeah.
This is one of the things I justified for continuing to play on the site, even though I might never get paid.
Yeah.
But I finally binked the super high roll of the $500 tournament, and I beat Eric Crane. Heads up.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool.
That's so awesome.
And so cool. Anyways, but it is possible. It's kind of fun. My one buddy's like, do you ever wonder why you're doing so well on the site? He's like, it's fixed in your behalf because they don't want the players who are now depositing to win money. Which I know isn't true because I saw one guy in the 2+2 was like, I just deposited a couple $100. He won the big $30,000 event.
Uh-huh.
But I almost had to wonder after my 4th OPS title because it was like a $200 tournament. I had my son that night, put him to bed, and it was like 10 minutes before registration closed. I bought him for 8 big blinds.
Uh-huh.
Then I won it. I cracked aces twice at the final table, and I'm like, wait a second. As much as I'm definitely getting better as a poker player, and my results online, I'm proud of. But this tournament was like, okay, there's something. This is fixed or something. I don't know. It was bizarre. And you've heard me bitch several times about the worst part about me giving up my losing money was, well, of course, losing money and putting myself in a situation, but also just that I thought I wouldn't be able to go to Vegas. But I got on 2+2, and I posted, there's a staking forum, and you say, these are the tournaments I'm playing. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how much. So I said, I'm going to sell 65% of myself, and I'm going to sell it at a 1.2 markup, 20% markup. Unless you want to buy more than 10%, you get it for 17% markup. And, there's a lot of players there. It's like 1%, 2%, 1. Sorry, I can't have the 2. Okay, who spend like months getting, or, quite a while getting their money together. And then an hour and a half after I posted it, someone said, I'll take it all.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the check was in the mail a couple days later. So
that's awesome. Here
I am. I mean, I could still take it in the butt here because I am posting some of my, putting up some of my own money. But, Vegas expensive, blah, blah, blah. But hopefully at least a couple good scores, make it profitable. We'll see.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. That's cool.
So when are you coming? Will I even see you here?
Yes, you will.
I'm going to be here so long I got to do some laundry. I got to at least do some laundry at the Barton house.
Yes.
See what a manipulative person I am. At least I'm open about it. You know what I mean? Mike, great to see you. Do you have any goddamn tides, sir? I've been wearing the same underwear for 3 days.
I really need some fabric softener and a washing machine. No, my wife and I are going to be out there the 4th through the 7th. So we're going
Okay.
to drive out the 4th, be there the 5th, 6th, and then probably head out early morning on the 7th on
Is that the
Sunday.
Millionaire Maker?
I'm not going to be playing then, but
Okay.
maybe we could meet up. But then I'm coming out to play on the 14th through the 20th.
Well, I will probably be. I'm leaving on the 14th, so
Oh, darn it. Okay. Okay, we'll have to meet up on the 4th, 5th, or 6th, or 7th then. You know what?
Okay.
Maybe we should do a meetup. We can talk about it now. This episode is going to air on the 1st. Maybe we should do a meetup. What about what are
I don't know.
the
We'll see if anyone. I think you could just probably we could just tweet it out. Me and Steve are meeting for a drink at such and such a place at the Rio Bar and on whatever night, and hope maybe a couple people come and we can talk some hands and have some fun. But
well, let's set it up. Let's do. Are you playing on the 5th?
I can't set anything up for sure, of course,
Okay.
because I'm going to be. I'm here to make money. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at the schedule, but
Okay. Well, pay attention to our Twitter,
Yeah.
HUP Podcast. Okay, at HUP Podcast. We'll try to set something up for maybe the 4th, 5th, or 6th, and maybe we'll meet up, have a beer, and
I am prepared emotionally and mentally already for the 99% chance it's just me and you staring at each other.
possibly, yeah.
In which case, I'll turn my back and Skype you.
Okay. I'll bring out my mom. Will be there. My dad.
Okay.
Is
Oh,
out there right now.
I'd like to meet the Barton clan actually. So that sounds like fun.
My brother will be there. My brother's girlfriend, Marcy, and my brother. I just talked to my brother this morning. He surprised the hell out of me. He said, "Do you know any good poker books?" And I'm like, "For you?" He said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Cash games or tournaments?" And he said, "Cash games." I'm like, "Actually, no, I don't. All I read are tournaments books. But let me call
Right.
Joe LaPinta and I'll pick his brain and I'll get back to you." He's like, "Okay." So I think he might start getting into playing poker again. He used to play probably 8 or 10 years ago. He played 4-8 limit, and I don't know. Maybe listening to this podcast has inspired him.
I would tell him to twitch it up almost before I would tell him to buy any books. Watch Dusty Schmidt. There's a bunch of other probably. That's what I would suggest personally.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, the Ed Miller books are considered like top of the line stuff. He's been on the Andrew Brokus podcast a few times.
Yeah.
But those books are like $100 a pop or something.
Okay. He's looking for, he's looking for an audio book because he's a mechanic and he works 8 or 10 hours a day just working on cars. So like at work, he can listen to a whole book inside of a day and a half. And he's looking for a cash game poker book that he can listen to while he's working. So I actually suggested the Coaching Carlos one from Thinking Poker, like the Knitcast one.
There you go. I was going to say maybe you should mic yourself up while you're playing, and you can explain to him like taking a leak, still taking a leak, folding, scratching myself. Wishing I had more interesting pursuits in life. No, I don't have any. I think I would suggest Twitch more than any books. Or watching live at the bike stream where they show the cash game players and stuff. But like for a starting book, I don't know what's best for cash. I mean, I could make recommendations for tournaments just for the complete novice kind of thing. But
yeah. I was thinking for tournaments, the Razor's Edge or. Shoot, there's one I'm reading right now. I can't even remember who it was. Ape Styles and 2 other guys.
Winning poker tournaments one hand at a time.
That's it. Yep, winning poker tournaments one hand at a time.
3 volumes. Yeah, that's one of my 2 or 3 favorite poker books. I think that's very good.
Yeah. But that's tournaments. He wants cash games. I don't know. I'll give Joe a call when I get my new phone today, and I can actually use it and see what he recommends. But,
nothing makes Joe LaPinta's day like a call from Steve.
That's right. Yeah, he's probably been anxiously awaiting this for like 6 weeks.
I wonder if he's blocking your calls yet. But
we'll see.
If he's developed to like a crummy Spanish accent. Oh no, Joe, not here now.
Oh,
Sorry,
Joey,
new phone.
no entiendo. No
Yes.
comprendo. No.
Um,
Steve-O, no.
Well, I didn't fuck around yesterday. I got in my car at 5 a.m. I was here by whatever 9:30, and I was playing a tournament.
Wait, you
over
drove
at
from
the,
San Diego to Vegas in 4.5 hours?
Yep,
How
North
fast were you going?
North County, San Diego. I think it's standard.
Oh, really? I thought that was like a 7-hour drive.
Oh no, it's like 4.5 hours or something. Yeah, no, it's not
Shit,
bad.
you're closer than I. How many miles is that?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, it was. I wasn't driving crazy or anything, and there's no traffic though. 15 north the whole way.
Okay,
It's pretty.
Okay.
But anyways, I immediately went to the Venetian, signed up for a $600 tournament, $250K guarantee, and I did bag chips, so
Nice.
a decent start. Although I'm pretty low on chips, I'm coming back with 18 big blinds.
Okay.
But I like how I played. I was
that's good.
pretty much under the chip average the entire day. I only had like one big pair, and I just didn't have a lot of hands, and I just really had to grind it out,
Yeah.
And you never know. But they haven't really said. Only 15% of the people survived the first two flights. There's another flight today, so maybe we show up and we're already in the money on day two. But I don't know. Probably not. There's probably going to be like 80 people returning and 63 get paid or something like that. I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully, again, I'm not going to try to limp my way in the money here. I gotta try. I'm going for some real money here.
No,
so,
you want first, second, or third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But who knows? 18 big blinds can. I've ridden that to a big stack before. So
We both come back from 1.5 big blinds and ship the tournament, so anything can happen.
Maybe you have. I don't remember doing that, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know if you want to. I wrote down the most interesting hand that I thought I played that day.
Let's do it. I haven't played a hand of poker in a month, so I'm ready. let's
quickly
dissect
on
this thing.
my pre-Vegas preparation, I finally decided, okay, it was time to give up on carbon poker until the money starts coming. So I don't think I'd played a hand of poker for about a week and a half or 2 weeks before I came here.
Cool. That's the best thing to do, man.
Which I think was good. And I just watched some live poker. I mean, training videos are great, but I also think there is some merit in watching, like, poker tournaments on TV, especially some of these live streams they have, which are very good, especially if you get some top pros who are doing the commentary. But anyways, yesterday, the blind levels are 800 and 1600. This is like level 11 or 12. We're getting, late in the evening, late in the session. And I have 61,000 in chips.
Okay. 61,000.
I think it's 61,000 exactly. It might have been a little bit more or less. I didn't count at the time. This is just about the only time I was over the chip average. Chip average probably like 50,000. I had just gotten lucky. My one big pair of the day, kings, some big stack had queens, and I doubled up.
Nice.
So after struggling to fight, I've got, just under 40 big blinds.
Yeah, 38.
And I am in the hijack with the Queen 8 of Hearts.
Queen 8 of Hearts. Okay.
This is probably, depends on the table dynamics. I just want a big hand. Probably a fold, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, well, it's folded to you, right?
Yes.
And, okay, so you got the cutoff button and then the blinds. And what are their stacks to your left? What do you remember about what they are? Are they less than you, more than you?
The big stack at my table, who will be the villain or one of the villains in this hand. This lady, 60-something years old, she probably has about 160 or 170,000. Probably the tournament chip leader at this point, maybe.
Okay.
She's got a lot of chips. She's got 100 big blinds. And I don't remember who's on the button. But just quickly, I thought basically no one was going to 3-bet me without a hand here, probably. I don't know. Well, the small blind was this French guy who was an absolute lunatic. I mean, maybe I use that word too much, but he was playing every hand. So there's a chance that he was going to shove. But he had like 23 or 4,000, and I would have called his shove.
Okay.
Because we saw, I'm ahead of his shoving range, actually, there.
He's shoving like 5,
there's
7
a possibility. Yeah, there's a possibility
Okay.
that he actually called one all-in blind when he had all the chips.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And for like someone shoved under the gun with like 14 bigs,
Yeah.
and he actually called him.
Blind.
Yeah, and it turns out it was like Jack 3 against tens or something.
Yeah.
Just whatever. There to have fun, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the small blind, the big blind was this guy. He probably had as many chips as I did. I didn't think he was going to be. He played pretty straight up. I think he was going to call a lot. Wanted to see a flop, but he'd be pretty straight up post flop. So basically, I didn't think I'd get raised, and I would think I would take this down a lot post flop. They're all going to play honestly post flop. They're only going to play back at me if they have something.
Now, the lady with the huge stack, is she to your left or did she already fold?
She's on my left.
Oh, so she's the cutoff then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And quickly, because, well, I don't know if you want to get the history of the lady here, but maybe, well, I'll give a little bit after on. She had just sat down probably less than 10 minutes ago, and I'd only seen her play a couple hands. But my read on her, how she plays will be relevant here. But anyways, I decided to raise the Queen 8 of Hearts. I raised to 3,600.
Right on.
Which is, 2.25. Probably.
I like the sizing. That's about what I would have done. I would have done 35, 36, something like that.
And because both these blinds are very defendy, you can almost rationalize going a little bigger, because the big blind's gonna call and then fold a lot post flop. So you can even rationalize maybe going a little bigger. But the cutoff quickly calls. The button folds and both blinds call.
Oh, okay.
So 3,600 times 3,600 times 3,600 times 36, or plus the 200 ante. We're 10-handed. There is 16,400 in the pot.
16,400. Okay.
The flop comes 9, 10, Jack, all clubs.
Well, that's a pretty flop.
I have flopped to straight.
Yes. Right. 9, 10, Jack, all clubs. Okay. You love it and you hate it at the same time. Okay. What's the small blind do?
Small blind checks.
Mm-hmm.
The big blind bets 6,600.
Okay.
Which, of course, some of the bet sizing on this table is like, if he's trying to take it down, he probably should. It's less than half pot. It's a really very small bet. My read is certainly he has something here.
Yeah.
He's not doing this with nothing. I mean, the worst hand maybe is like, maybe he's got like the Queen of Clubs and like a Deuce of Hearts or something. You know what I mean? Like he's got a straight and a flush draw.
Yeah.
Or he's got top pair and wants to see, he's got King Jack and wants to see where he's at, kind of thing.
Now, this big blind, this is the guy that you said could shove with anything, or was that the small?
That was the small blind.
That was the small blind. What's your read on the big blind?
I think classically tight player. I guess he's trying to play only hands of some value.
Okay.
But he was like raise folding quite a bit. He likes to see flops,
Okay.
And then calling a lot, and probably like late position where I would probably 3-bet, but my guess he's calling like, But anyways, here he has something every time.
Okay.
Pretty much. So what would you do now?
This is interesting. Man. He can't fold. So that's not an option. It's either calling or raising. How much you got behind? You got 61K. And how much does he have left?
I don't know his exact chip count. I'm guessing he's got a little less than me. Let's say he's got 50K just for the sake of the.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, this was if I go in with this guy, it's basically for my tournament.
Yeah. I'm thinking of, and I don't know if this is the right move or not, but I'm thinking of that, what Joe LaPinta was talking about in that episode where he said, if you do a min raise here, you might get the cutoff out. And, so you make it like 13,000 here. And what would that be? 13.2, I guess. Make it 13,000 here. And then see what the cutoff does. And that'll more than likely get the small blind out. And the big blind, if he shoves, I think at that point, Well, then you got a decision. But if he just calls, you might get him to check the turn. If another club comes on the turn, then you can probably safely get rid of this hand. But if it doesn't, then you can kind of make your decision from there. So I think if you just call, then you're going to let anyone. I mean, anyone with a king of clubs is going to call. Anyone with the, anything. If somebody's got a set, then they're getting good odds. I kind of like clicking it back here and making it like 13K, and then you're not committing your whole stack. You can still kind of get away if somebody makes a move, but you might thin out the field a little bit and get heads up with the big blind.
Well, the one thing I'll disagree with you there when you say, if you're going to raise there, you have to know if you're calling it off or not. You're saying, well, if you raise, then you got a decision to make. You know what I mean? You have to, I think, sort of have a plan there. Because if it's, if I'm raising, at that point, I've got 20% of my chips in the pot almost, probably almost a third of my chips in the pot.
You could be drawing dead.
But here was my thought. First of all, my senses were just going off. That I was half wanted to just fold his hand.
Oh, really? Okay.
But no, you can't fold. That's not an option. I thought pretty much the first thing, which is just call, and pretty much if there's no more clubs come, even if he's got queen king, I'm going to be calling him down. Just basically call, and it's easy to get away from if there's another club on the turn.
Okay.
Or if the board pairs either, and he bets big. And I also thought this was a player who, without like a real nutted hand, would probably shut it down on the turn. Like I would get to see the river.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be like, if for some reason he has just top pair. Even if a club comes and he slows down, I can probably see the river and my straight might beat his two pair or whatever. You know what I mean? Even if there's four clubs, if he doesn't have a club.
Yeah.
No, your raising decision isn't bad, but I think if you're raising at this point, you've got to know what you're going to do.
Well, I would say if he shoves, you fold, and I'm just generally speaking.
But this is
no
I would
reads or anything.
I would hate to fold the best hand there, or if he's got queen of clubs and jack, then he's if he's got queen of clubs and a jack, then he's got 9 outs and I'm a 2.5 to 1 favorite or whatever it is there. I don't even know. So that was my main reason for not for basically when you said you've got a tough decision there, you got to think about it. You're right, but I did not like the possibility of raising and then folding. Folding the best hand. That seemed, if I was going to raise, I was going to have to call. And like you said, there was the possibility of.
Yeah. You also, the small blind hasn't done anything yet. He could shove if you just call. I guess he could shove if he raised too. But then
he was a lot of times with defending from the blinds and then just open shoving. So if he was going to shove, he would have shoved right now.
Okay.
He would have open shoved, I think, if he had any sort of draw or any sort of piece of it.
Unless you're pretty sure he's out.
Unless he had like a straight flush or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's just a redo. Yeah, that's the small blind is I'm not even really thinking about now. And if he shoves, it's an easy call because he would do it with one pair or one club. So that would be the easiest call in the world.
Okay.
So that's the least of my concerns. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, the lunatic did get paid off by me a few times. He had a set of 4s and he had aces. He's going crazy with people again with 7-3, shoving this and that, losing massive pots, and then I would always chip him up again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know if it was the optimal play. You can make an argument for raising there, although I think raise folding is. I think that's bad there. I think you gotta maybe against this particular villain who I said would never lead out, but on the other hand, I don't think he's leading out with a flush either. I think he would check shove or check raise the flush.
Maybe you're right. Maybe raise folding there is bad because you're putting in 25% of your chips, and
I thought I was ahead of him, but I didn't want to take his bluffs out. I guess either. No, he's not bluffing. You can make an argument for raising there certainly. If he's got, I think if you're going to raise though, if you're just going to click it back, I don't. Like I said, he has a hand. He's not bluffing. So if you just click it back where he's getting 5 to 1 or 4 to 1 in a call, he's going to be calling with his one club draws, I think.
True.
So,
yeah.
but if you raise more, then you're pot committed.
My thought is getting the cutoff and the small blind out. I don't think he's folding to a clickback. That's not the objective. The objective is to get heads up with him.
So what hand would the cutoff have where they would be calling 6,400 but folding to the min raise? Just, I mean,
6,600.
They would be calling
pocket kings,
which we would want to keep in the pot. Unless it had king of clubs, I don't think they'd probably shove. Like I'm saying, like the cutoff calling behind me with a one pair hand is not bad news at this point, probably.
That's a good point.
Necessarily.
Maybe.
I mean, like if they both have a club, I mean, if a club comes on the turn, I don't know. I like my call. I guess I'm going to be just justifying it here. It's not. I'm just not excited to get all my chips in here at this point, I guess.
Okay.
And if I'm raising, I'm just definitely not folding. That's my. If I have 17,000 in the pot, I mean, I guess it's still less than a third of my stack. I guess maybe against this particular villain, you could justify. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand the raise to get the other two guys out part of it, kind of thing. Because if I raise, then the two of us both have a hand, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mean, even if I flat, I don't think anybody. Well, who knows? Yeah, maybe if this guy somehow has two pair, and the lady behind me has kings. Of course, she's never flatting my pre-flop raise with kings, anyways. But if for some reason one of them had the king of clubs, yeah, maybe after he bets and I raise, they fold it. So then I guess there is some merit to that.
Yeah,
sorry to miss
with
that.
The king of clubs or something. Ace queen with the.
Right now, I'm feeling I'm playing against the stack of the guy who just bet. So, yeah. Anyways, I call.
Okay.
And then the lady takes about 15, 20 seconds. She was taking a little long time, and I felt right away she was going to raise. That was my. Yeah. I thought she was it was almost a false tank. 20 seconds if you count it out, it's kind of a long time.
Yeah.
And she popped it to 15K.
Okay. Small blind folds?
Small blind folds. Big blind takes a fair amount of time folding, studying her, studying me, thinking about it for a while. He's got a big hand, but he folds.
Maybe he had like pocket queens or something.
I think he's going to, again, he's not going to want to, he's not going to see pocket queens four-way. He would have
probably not. Queens. Maybe a set of nines. He could have had like Jack 10.
But
Ace Jack with the ace of clubs.
Well, I put him on two pair.
Okay.
And I think a set, he's got to go with it. And which means that greatly reduces the chance that the lady to my left has a set.
Yeah.
And just to quickly go into history with her, previously, I can't remember, there's definitely one pot I saw where somebody 3-bet and then she 4-bet. And then the other two people folded, and I said, show the 3-6. I wanted to see her hand, kind of joking.
Yeah.
She's like, can't. And
she said, I can't?
She says, no, I won't. But another kid who's at the table, who's funny, he came over shortly after her, and he had been playing with her all day long.
Yeah.
And he's like, 3-6, dude. He's like, she's got queens. She's like, how did you know that? He's like, well, I saw it when you folded. And then there was another hand a few minutes later where she raised, and I said a joke. I said, I think she's pushing him around, and I kind of made eye contact with this young kid who's been playing with her. Not like really looking for information, and he just shook his head slowly. Basically, he was, and this guy had like 13,000 in chips. He was down to like 8 big blinds looking for a shove spot, and this woman has like mountains. So basically, he was giving me some information there. He's telling me this chick has just been running great all day.
Yeah.
If she bets, she has it.
Yeah. She's just been getting hit in the face with the deck.
Yeah. She's not making any moves. She's got all her. So it comes back to me. There's now 44,600 in the pot. So there's a ridiculous amount of chips in there.
Yeah.
and it's 8,400 to me. So I'm getting like 5.5 to 1 on a call. I mean, is calling ever an option here? In my mind, I thought considered it briefly, and I said, well, it's got to be. Maybe that's an option. I was thinking it's got to be shove or fold.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards a fold, man. How much? There's 44 in the pot. How much do you have left in your stack now? You got like 50?
Well, so far I've
49?
got about 10K in the pot. So yeah, I still got 50K left.
Man, I mean, it sounds insane to fold when you're getting that kind of price, but given the history that you've described, I think there's a real possibility here. You could be drawing dead, and yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think I'd let it go. I think I'd let it go.
Well, I tanked for a long time. For me, a real long time, and I was, again, I've talked many times about following my instincts, and I said she has it, but I was like, this is like the best damn hand I've had all day, and I'm like, all she's got is the ace of. It's one of those things where I'm either like drawing dead or like just barely ahead kind of thing.
Yeah.
In my mind, or not just because even if she's got the ace of clubs, the queen, she's got outs to the bitter straight, or well, I guess not. Yeah, well, her king would give her the nut straight. So yeah, I tanked forever, and I was telling myself, don't shove, and then I was like, so I kind of took that out of the equation. I'm like, do I fold and see? I mean, do I call and see what she does on the turn? I mean, I could call and still have 40K. Even if I got to fold the turn. Basically, I thought if she had just the ace of clubs here, she was just going to call.
I think so.
She's got a lot of chips, and she's, basically this is one of the few villains where you get away from this hand, I think, and it's probably even a standard fold almost, I think. Maybe not.
I think against her, yeah. I mean, she's 60 years old, right? She's basically been getting hit with the dick. A guy that's been playing with her all day has never seen her bluff.
Yeah, well, he never said that. He just kind of shook his head when I said 3-6, and I actually looked her up on Hendon afterwards. She's second, okay. She's second in chips going into the next day, and she's got some good results. She's only played for a couple of years, and she's got a couple final tables, a couple 5-figure scores. I think she final tabled the Heartland Poker Tour.
Oh, okay.
And she was, I mean, I was ready for a fold. That's the other thing. And then I'm finally like, you can tell she takes her time, has her glasses, looks straight ahead, tries not to give anything away. I mean,
she could be a pro.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, probably recreational, but pretty solid. The one thing when I was staring at her pulse was absolutely going bananas. So I was ready for a fold. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't like me looking at her. Maybe this was a false, but like really like racing pulse. I was almost going to stop and count it. I'm like, this is going to be 130 beats a minute. If it goes any faster, she'll be. Yeah. So, I just think with just an ace of clubs, she's calling. I mean, me and the other guy do have a fair amount of chips. We can put a decent, even though she's got a lot of chips, we can put a nice dent in her stack if she doubles us.
Yeah.
And I thought she had it. And like I said, not that many of my chips. So it was, not this was not a fold I could make a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't think. It's a fold I'm never making online, probably. I shouldn't say never. So I folded.
Okay.
And I immediately turned, and she showed me the ace of clubs.
Interesting.
And I'm like, oh, were you just on a draw? And I looked over to the young kid, and he shook his head. Again. And the funny thing is, because I was so agonized over this, I was talking. I really wanted to find out if I made it. And then finally, you could tell she kind of felt bad for me or something. Like it was like a couple minutes later, she's like, I also had the 3 of clubs. I had the nuts.
Huh.
And she was telling the truth. I mean,
Yeah, you could tell.
And so I had her, and right after the hand, I turned to the small blind. I said, you have top 2? He's like, yep. He had 2 pair.
Oh, the big blind, you mean?
The big blind. He had top 2 pair.
He had king.
So again,
okay.
Like I said, I don't know if it's tanking, somewhat relevant, but that like totally takes, or almost, really takes the possibility of her having a set. Greatly reduces it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I made a big fold and I'm still alive. I was drawn dead.
Yeah. Good for you, man.
Uh,
Nice fold. Nice fold.
so yeah, like Mike of a year ago, it's funny how I always say like I listen to this podcast and I sometimes I just can't listen to it because my advice I give is just like horrible. Like the cash game stuff is just comically bad. But it's just listening to like the last one where Tony was talking about Tony had like the flush, but he didn't have the nut flush, and the other guy had. I'm like, well, you can't fold. He got the second best hand.
Yeah.
But like the best hand is like prominently in the other guy's range, and I'm totally dismissing the possibility of him getting away from it. I'm like, well, Jesus, I would actually, if I was playing that, maybe even get away from it.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know what I was thinking. Tony, I apologize. You can, if you listen to this here, please keep sending your hands in because hopefully at some point I'll offer some lucid advice. But I'm getting better at laying down those big hands. I think live, like I said, there were so many dynamics here where made it a little easier to lay this down. I'm lucky if I had like 10 or 15, if I had like 50,000 in chips and I think 10K were in there. I don't know what the cutoff for amount of chips I would have to have in there where I'm like, fuck this, I'm going with it. So the fact that I had just doubled up was very relevant here, that I didn't have to, I could get away from this.
Yeah.
With just a flesh wound. And
I think you lost the minimum here. I mean, well, I guess losing the minimum would have been folding the queen eight of hearts, but I would have opened that too.
And then, I don't know if that's it.
I mean, I would have re-raised the big blind there. I would have repopped him to 13 or 14. And then I believe I would have got away from it too, but you saved yourself an extra 7K in chips that I wouldn't have.
Well, if she shoves, my plan would have been to call him this guy, but if she shoves,
yeah,
I mean, I would have gotten away from it.
Yeah.
I still like the flat. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. It's an interesting hand though. I don't know. I think I had the amount of chips where I could, if I had like 100,000, I would have called the 8,400 more, seeing the turn.
Yeah.
So I would have given it without a club. I might have called again. So if I had more chips, more or less chips, I would have lost more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
I had like the perfect amount where I folded and I still had whatever my 32 big blinds or whatever it was.
Yeah. Right on. Well played, Mikey. You're starting off the trip right. First tournament, you're freaking bagging chips. Good for you, man.
Hopefully, like I said, I can't think of, really.
What was the buy into this?
$600.
$600, cool.
250K guarantee. So if somehow you make a deep run here.
Okay, so 400 of it is your investor and 200 is yours, about something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and hopefully if I can somehow, third place probably like 20K. I'll take that. Free roll the next 3 weeks, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm trying to think if there's any other. I was really card dead. I flopped it. I flopped a set my second hand of the day and I didn't get paid, but I just was like, oh, this is going to be a good day. But I was pretty much card dead, but I liked how I was stealing pots and just like pretty much under the chip average the entire time, other than briefly.
Yeah.
And the only hand, I think I told you last night briefly, I paid a guy's big river bet off. I called it with ace high, which didn't make any sense. I was sitting there tanking for a long time, deciding if I shoved, would he fold? Because I had him ranged properly. I thought he had like a middle pair. He was and I'm like, wait a second, I might the straight draw missed. I might actually be good here. So somehow my decision whether to fold or jam turned into like just me calling with ace high for giving up like 13K, which was just asinine. Which was how'd
the hand play out?
It was like I opened early position.
With ace five off or suited or
ace jack suited.
Ace jack suited.
I think it was under the gun, and it was 10 deuce deuce was the flop. I bet he called, and for some reason it's kind of funny how this is a guy who afterwards he might have ended the day the chip leader. Like once he five bet a guy who then jammed jacks into him and he had aces. Somehow he's a guy who always looks like he's putting moves on people. I mean, definitely I think he's a pro. You could tell just by his talk and talking about the best 5-10 games in Florida and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was 10 deuce deuce, and he called. I'm like, well, he's got a 10 or like pocket sixes. And turn was a queen. Went check, check. and the river was like a 9, and he bet like pretty big, like pot sized.
Was he in the blind or where was he?
Yeah, he was the big blind.
Oh, okay.
So I said, okay, he's got a 10. I said, but if I shove here, I forget. He bet like 13, and I maybe had 40 left or something. I said, he's folding his 10.
Yeah.
I think he is. He's a pro. He could think about it. But if I had a queen, I would definitely check back the turn, probably hoping he bets the river. But I think he would probably, if I shoved the river, if he's got a 10, I think he would have tank called and thought about it. Like even if I had like a big, because he's the only one who could have a deuce in his hands, he could have defended with crap. Like, why would I shove the river, even, especially if he bets big? Why, even with kings or aces, wouldn't I just call?
Yeah.
But somehow there wasn't even really a draw that missed. I somehow I convinced myself that he floated with like Jack King and he missed or something, or or something. Well, even Jack King I think would have hit straight in the river.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what I was doing there. It's just bad. It's an easy fold. So that was the only hand which I immediately, like afterwards, just found myself just cringing with, I guess.
Somehow in those moments you justify to yourself that you're like, I'm going to make a freaking hero call right now and snap off his 7-8 or whatever,
Well, I mean, he's a pro, and I float a lot, even out of position. You know what I mean? Like, so if any one of the tournaments I went online is like the guy who's like the number one position. He's like, he was joking because I called a small blind with like, from the big blind, like 10-3 on like an ace king flop or something like that, and then I check on the turn. I went big on the river, and then I showed my bluff afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
He was joking. He's like, "You learned that from me. I'm the one who floats out of position, man." So somehow I'm like, okay, this is a pro. He just feels like making a move, kind of thing. And the funny thing is, he could have even had could have had a ace queen at a better, or ace king at a better ace. No, I guess he wouldn't have ace king there, but. That was bad. The other one, I told you this French guy who was just sucking down wine, and he was just being really loud, and people kept calling the clock on him. The floor came over, and like just raising every hand.
Was he the one in the small blind from the previous?
Yeah,
year?
for the villain.
Okay.
But he had a set against me, and I had top pair, and he went bet. He got max value out of me.
Okay.
And I'm like, I mean, afterwards, it's like the guy's so crazy, but like his table, he's like, oh, I think you had the straight. What am I doing? Like on the river, he bet pretty big.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it. I'm like, I know he fucking has it, but I can't fold to this guy. And I slammed the chips in the middle. One of those, whenever you slam them in the middle, don't you know you're beat?
Yeah. That's just adding that extra little flair on there.
Yeah, and that actually sort of crippled me, but I was lucky how he was playing, because he was opening hands, and I was like reshoving like 9 big blinds with like king 3 and queen 7, and he was folding. Because he's literally opening any, so somehow I think in my low point I was down to like 7K and got it up to 20K without, I can't remember the specific, narratives, but basically I was fortunate that he was just, for a while there he had massive loads of chips and he was just opening every pot, and when I was short stacked, I was just, any respectable hand I was shoving.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I don't have a lot of chips, but I think I played pretty close to my A game. I give myself B+/A-, and I think a lot of people would have busted this day one here from me. Like I said, just pretty card dead. And
yeah.
The way I was picking my spots. And for me, like I said, I think the way this lady is, I'm not going to say a standard fold, but I think it's a fold that 4 to 5 experienced MTTers make. But for me, it's a tough one. I have trouble getting away from hands, especially big hands. So,
good for you, man. I'm excited. That's awesome. You're stoked. That's cool.
So I don't know what have any other. I went and I registered for the Colossus and the Millionaire Maker.
Okay, now that one's on Friday, right? The 29th?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually registered twice for the Friday and Saturday AM sessions. A lot of people are registering 4 times. Which is probably the way to do it, but I feel like that's...
Wait, so why would you register twice?
So you don't have to stay in line 9 hours if you if you bust.
Okay.
And then
okay.
if you make it, then you've got to stand 9 hours to get your money back. But a lot of people are registering 4 times.
That seems too much to me. That almost seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like mentally, you're like, I'm going to bust. You know?
Well, you can get the money back. I mean,
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the more issue for me is I just don't want to give 500 because I was asking, but actually 3 people at the cage, no one had an answer for this. I said, because if you're in session 1, which starts at 10 a.m.,
yeah,
and you bag, let's say even if you bag it, I don't know how they're doing it, if you bag an hour before the next session starts, you're not going to be able to go to the cage and get through with an hour and get your money back.
yeah.
So that was my main issue, not to, like for some of these big players, there's no way, like if the other hand, if I bust at 5 o'clock and the next session starts at 6, if it takes 3 or 4 hours of me wait in line, I'm not going to get to play it again.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the idea of giving $585 away. Like if I bagged and couldn't get there before 6, nobody gave me an answer for this. I don't think once the tournament starts, you can. Now on the other hand, if you can always just play it again, and just then, like if I bag 30 big blinds, just that the tournament's so high value and 565 is not a huge amount of money. I think you can play it again and keep whatever your biggest stack is. I think a lot of people are doing it for that reason.
Okay.
So, but like even if I were only bagged 22 big blinds, I don't think I would waste $565 saying, okay, now I can really just go for it and try to run it up.
Yeah.
Although it's just in my particular moment of financial situation, I just don't think I can do that. So, but I did register twice, and if I make it through day 1, the first session, then I can deregister for day 2, and if I bust early in the morning session of Friday, then I'll just have to get in line and whatever's. Hopefully I won't be there. I'll have a book in my hand, and if I got to wait 3 hours,
yeah.
But they're expecting 10,000. 10,000 is the minimum they're going to get for this tournament.
Holy shit!
That's
wow.
what they need to meet the guarantee. And a lot of people. Someone told me they already had 16,000 people registered, which seems seemed a little too much because like there's so many people coming into town. But they said, well, a lot of people registered 4 times, and it easy to do online. So I'm like, well, it's not that easy. You got to wire. I'm like, that many people wired money to the cage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow. My mom and dad were going to play that, but my brother's girlfriend and my cousin's birthday is they're celebrating that on Saturday the 30th, so they'd miss day 2. So he's like, would you ever play a tournament that you're going to miss day 2? I'm like, no. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
No, that is completely pointless.
The more I think about it,
you're just throwing your money away.
The more I'm thinking about it is, I should get in line and just play the, there's value maybe into just playing, registering for all 4 sessions. And, if I bag less than 50 big blinds, playing it again, et cetera.
No.
But,
just play your bullets, and you're in Las Vegas, bro. There are so many. If you don't move on to day 2, then play another trick. Go to the Venetian. This tournament. You're in the mecca of poker right now. There's going to be plenty of tournaments. You could play one of the daily deep stacks.
Well,
yeah. I think you're just throwing money away if you're firing that many just because. I got 29 big blinds. Let's see if I can get 60.
No, but the tournament is so plus EV with so many players that it would be kind of bad if I busted late in the first session and then really couldn't register for the second session because it's 4:30 and people are telling me the line's 5 hours long.
Wow.
So that would kind of suck is all I'm saying. And if you've got the bankroll, I don't think it's a horrible idea for people who are registered 4 times and want to play it at least twice and are willing to give, you know what I mean? Because like I said, you got to have, obviously so many amateur players, but
there are a lot of dead lottery tickets in there. But for you to buy 4 lottery tickets and then only use 2 of them, that
wouldn't
away
happen.
Your edge as a pro there.
If I were to buy 4, the most I could lose would be 1 of them.
Okay.
Because if I bust the first one and then bust the second one, if I register the first day and bust the 2, well, I'm saying, I could bust all 4. I could go 0 for 4, but I'm not going to only play 2 sessions.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because if the first one, if I if I busted the day one, the first one, and then bag the second one, then I'm getting my money back from the next two. Or if I go bust, and then bag for the third one, and then but don't make it there to pull one. There are only possibilities, only one dead one that I don't get to play at all. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, it's all kind of semantic. I mean, more or less I'm agreeing with you that just the possibility of just entering a tournament that you would not play in or get your money back from seems kind of ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that seems like you're just lighting money on fire at that point.
So I did, by the way, break my major commitment, which is not to play any cash. I showed up about an hour, whatever. I was there at the Venetian an hour before the tournament. I'm like, okay, let's get this out of the way. I bought in a 2-5 at $500.
Oh, there you go.
And
I thought you were going to say I bought into 1530 no limit.
This is a lot of money right now, so I can't. And I lost it in about 7 minutes. And
did you get your fix? Or are you done?
The second hand, somebody opens, and I 3-bet my ace king suited, and the flop is 5 deuce deuce, and I bet he calls, and the turn is a 5, and it goes check check, and there's an ace on the river, and he leads out for like a pot size bet, which was like $140. And I'm like, I decided to take my time a little bit. I said, well, you can't have a deuce or 5. You can have 2 of them. I said, you either got quads or you got a crummier ace here, sir. And he had quads. He had flop quad deuces. I paid to find out.
You just called, right? You didn't raise?
No, I just called. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so I lost whatever. I can't even remember there. I lost 200 something bucks that hand, or around 200, I think. And then like 2 hands later, I had ace queen, and the guy opens $15, and I made it 50. And the guy immediately shoves, and I snap him off. He has ace 9.
Oh, nice.
And he flopped the 9.
Of course.
And I don't even know what he was thinking. I mean, but and that was gone. That was $500 in seriously like 7 minutes. And trying to be an optimist here, I said, oh, well, that's good. That means I'm going to run good in the tournaments.
Yeah.
But I just can't. Whatever. I mean, a lot of people, it's kind of funny. All the cash game players talk about how awful tournaments are. You know what I mean? You bust your ass in one bet. But right now, my mentality is the other way around. Even though I've busted 20 tournaments, I'm like, tournament poker is ultimately fair. You know what I mean? But like internally, we're cash games. I'm just seeing so much ridiculous shit that I'm like, this is just flipping coins. It's probably the other way around. There's less variance in cash, obviously, and the cash game player, the best cash game players, I'm sure, who are doing it right, make money every year. Where even the best tournament players, you can have some years where you take it in the culo.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I can't see my playing unless I, bink a tournament and have 50,000 cash on me, and want to. But even then, I'm going to play 2-5, and this would be to kill time between tournaments. So I'm going to try not to play cash. Today, in fact, I'm going to play the Rio deep stacks, and I'm going to go to
Are you going to play the 235?
Yeah, I'm just going to go out and sit by the pool for a few hours and get some sun. I've got no interest in playing cash right now.
Good for you. Good for you. That's what I'm going to play later on next month. I'm just going to play the 235s, and if I bink one of those, maybe I'll buy into a 1500 or something. But other than that, I just plan on playing 5 or 6 of those things and see how I do. I've yet to lose at the WSOP. I don't think this year will be any different, but you never know. You never know. You never know. Last year I only won $400.
This is Babe Ruth calling his shot here, man. It
is. I'm pointing to the outfield right now. Everyone's like, "What the hell's he doing? Can he do it 7 years in a row?" I think I can. We'll see. We'll see. Last year wasn't that profitable. It was only like $400, but it was still in the green.
I think I talked about last year. I came out here with my 12,000 in my pocket, and I was just coming out with here with a very gambly attitude, and I took a couple, bad beats in a couple big tournaments. So I could have had a nice score, but I didn't like mentally how he came out. So this year I like where I'm at, but that could prove irrelevant.
Yeah.
14 tournaments or whatever I'm officially scheduled for. It seems preposterous that I would go 0 for 14 after bricking my last 20 or 19 or whatever the hell it is. But
you're gonna have a nice score.
It seems.
You're gonna do well. Just stay away from the cash. Tournaments are your thing, bro. That's your bread and butter. That's your niche. That's your niche. That's where you're good. Play
Right.
your strength.
Well,
You
we'll
know.
see. And, I'll just have to try to stay positive because like, there's a part of me that's like, that not that I'm want to fail here, but like this would be the end of poker for me. Like, I know I keep saying that, but this would be like DEFCON 5. I need to get a job. I actually have health insurance now, which is like ridiculous, which is like $320 a month, catastrophic. Doesn't cover anything, $7,500 deductible. Like, I mean, I need a job with health insurance. This is like, basically if I got sick, I got no money to pay for it kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, eventually I'll probably get state aid but blah, blah, blah. So there's a part of me that's like, just wants like poker to be over, especially if carbon poker, doesn't pay. Then I'm just not putting another goddamn nickel online.
Are you kidding? I think you're just at the start of your real success. I mean, look at what you've done since you've come out. You've ground up $50K online.
I know,
right?
but I can't deposit again. It's so wild.
Okay, well, forget about that. Just look at what you've done. I mean, you have over 50,000 online. You're like number 6 in the state or some shit. And you
number 2 in the country. I've risen up on the pocket.
Okay, number 2 in the goddamn country. You've
I tweeted that at Eric Crane because I jumped ahead of him. He was number 3, and
after 2 days.
2.
You got one person to back you. You don't have to. I mean, when you actually get a score here, which I believe you will, when you actually get a score, you only have to pay one person. You don't have to pay 10 people or 20 people who have bought 5% here and 10% here. And I mean, that's just a freaking nightmare. I mean, I'm pretty organized, but that would suck. You got one person and you did it in a couple of days.
In poker is very high, but like in an ability to like, even if I like bricked, if I totally bricked the series, I don't know. I probably have trouble getting backing. I don't know. But like, just from like the online success, and if I have like just one decent, basically, I think I could. I mean, I really don't have any information to say this is true, but I feel like I could always come to Vegas and find people to back me. Now that I've just seen this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And seen some of the other. So that's not even like the issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's like. Well, it's just because you're really good at poker, and like I'm really good at tournament poker right now. That's what I feel. But that's not. It's still a leap to just say you can make a living off it, though. You know what I mean? Like it's dependent upon not just being like a steady performer, but like knocking down a big $200,000 score at least every 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? So poker is a career. Like, I would have to like walk out of here with like seriously like $300,000 in my own pocket for me not to pursue a job when I get back. This is what I'm telling myself. Okay. But I'm also telling myself, if I walk away with just 50,000, then I'll probably want to go back and try to grind cash and blah blah blah. And I said that would be awful. So in my mind, kind of having my internal dialogue, I'm like, okay, I've got to either just brick everything and go home penniless and just really just be in a desperation state, which will be the best thing for me. I said, or give me my millions and I'll,
You're just looking for that big score.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had the same conversation again. I mean, you're just the glass is half full kind of guy and want me to focus on the fact that I'm a winning good poker player. But like I said, I mean, you've also got a very nice job there, Steve.
That's true. I don't have the stress that you do.
No son, and this is like I haven't had my teeth cleaned in like 10 months. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind paying for the teeth cleaning, but when they give me the mandatory X-rays and the $600 bill, you know what I mean? Like, these are just to be a 44-year-old man thinking along this kind of shit is just really lame. So I always hate to move to the negativities here. So hopefully we'll have some discussion.
Well, you know what? On the lighter side, this is our 25th episode, a quarter of a century. I don't even know if that makes sense, but 25 episodes.
Yeah.
Never missing a week. Pretty damned impressive, if I say so myself.
Not exactly DiMaggio streaks in terms of the incredible feats of human skill. But yeah, it's good. Hopefully.
This is a landmark one.
Hopefully, like I said, we've kind of said the same thing. I don't even really care how many people are listening. It's just kind of cool. We know we got some people who are definitely enjoying the show, and we're getting to talk to some cool people.
Yeah.
And that's all I care about right now. That's fun.
Yeah. You know what? I'll get with see if I can message Andrew and I think Carlos is going to be out there at that time, and the TPE guys, and maybe we'll schedule some kind of meetup, either the 4th, 5th, or 6th, something like that. And we can go bowling like we did last time, or just go for a beer. Or...
Yeah, I don't know, Steve. You're like I told you. I get on. I get on the mic whenever you tell me.
Okay.
Other than that, you do everything.
All right. We'll see if we can get something together here. But
Well, at the very
definitely pay
least, like I
attention
said,
to our Twitter.
If you and I decide to go out for a drink one night, then we'll tweet it out. Hopefully, a few people around here will come say hello.
Okay. Well, worst case scenario, my family will be there. You, my wife, and yeah, we'll have fun either way.
Is there any going to be just a couple hot Colombian chicks friends coming along?
We might be able to arrange something. She's got some cute friends.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
Boy, you certainly perked up.
Does this mean I won't have to spend money on a hooker this trip? For the first time ever in a casino, I can save myself $500 there by. No.
There was something about the Colombian accent. I don't know what it is. She wants to get her accent completely gone to where she just sounds like an American, and I'm like, oh no, the Colombian accent is just too cute. I love it. I love it.
Something about boobs too, Steve.
Yeah, there is something about those. I don't know what it is, but
Steve, I gotta say, for a goofy looking bastard, you got a nice looking wife there.
Oh, she's a cutie. She's a cutie. Sweetheart too. Just a total sweetheart. I am.
Well,
really
I look forward to meeting her and trying to figure out what exactly her psychological problem is then.
She looks forward to meeting you too. She's heard a lot about you about every week. She's like, "You texting Mike again? Yeah, you got 3 more downloads. Good for you." We're killing it on downloads.
Tell them about the socks, Steve. Tell them about the socks.
Yeah. We're killing it on download. Over 6,000 downloads. We're moving on up. Every month we're getting more and more.
Okay, well that's good news.
Yeah. So we are, whether we like it or not, we're getting popular.
Right. Well, either way, I feel like Vegas is going to have my name will be known after Vegas. It could be I win $1 million, or it could be I'm arrested for a knife fight in the back parking lot. But either way, my name will be known after this series. I could be taking a leap from a window. I don't know. There's the possibility of some sort of conflagration here. No, I think I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many people will be downloading this show 1, 2, 3 months from now. But hopefully, like I said, it continues regardless.
Yes. I'm excited. I can't wait to get out there.
I always pause. I don't know to say regardless or irregardless. And then one day I Googled and said they're exactly the same terms. And somebody was arguing strongly that we should actually get rid of the words irregardless because it's the same as regardless. I just thought you'd find that interesting.
Is it really?
I think I vaguely remember this. I don't know. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, you're the English expert.
Well, no, not really an expert in anything. But anyways, we'll obviously I'll be those who want to follow me on Twitter can see I'll be when you have a backer, you have to keep constant updates.
Yes.
So I'll be I always update anyways, but if anyone wants to rail me.
Yeah.
If you want to rail me from Saskatchewan, Twitter is the place to do it.
Okay.
And
and what's your Twitter handle? I mean, I know it's attached to the Heads Up Poker Podcast.
I think it's just my name, Mike Snyderman.
Mike Snyderman. Okay.
So obviously I'll be talking to you, Steve. It would be really great to, even to cash tomorrow. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be trying to min cash or whatever, but get the series off to a good start and get a little.
Yeah, that takes so much pressure off when you get some money on the first tournament. You're just like, okay, now I can relax, get in my groove, and just play my game.
Right.
I mean, really which is how you should be playing all the time. But there's just some relief about when you start your trip and you get a good score on the first one. You're just like, all right, cool. I'm free rolling. I can play my A game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play my A game for the next 3 weeks here. Whether that proves to be profitable or not, it certainly increases the chances of success and profitability. So, but hashtag variance. We'll see.
Yeah. Right on. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, it's wrap up time. I'm gonna go to the pool, man.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna do about 100 push-ups before I go out there. I'm still gonna be a fat middle-aged dude, so it doesn't matter. But you never know.
No, it'll pump up your arms a little bit. The chicks dig it.
Okay, man. Well, I will talk to you soon.
All right, and
Guess I'll see you soon too.
Yes, you will. You will. So follow us on Twitter, HUP Podcast. Hit us up on Facebook. We're starting to get following on there. Heads Up Poker Podcast. You can email us at headsuppokerpodcast@gmail.com and listen to our episodes on the blog. Make comments on our blog, headsuppokerpodcast.blogspot.com. You guys have a great week. Mike, good luck. And here is your weekly motivational speech.
In order to achieve greatness, you have to go through a lot of pain. You definitely have setbacks, but in order to achieve that success, you have to push through.
If you hit an oak tree 1,000 times in 1,000 different spots, what's going to happen? Absolutely nothing. But if you hit an oak tree 1,000 times in the exact same spot, you know what's going to happen? You're going to bring it down. You're going to do the impossible. You're not only a special person created at a special time, you got something special inside of you.
You have to believe that you can do something that nobody else has done. And somehow that concept has to become reality.
You got greatness all inside of you, but your problem is you a scaredy cat. You soft, and every time it get hard, you quit and you give up. And I'm telling you, if you would be willing to fight your way through it, if you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through cancer, fight your way through that academic struggle, fight your way through divorce, fight your way through it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You got to fight your way through it. You got to fight the fear, because guess what? Fear ain't bigger than you. If you're going to win the fight of your life, you can't be afraid to fight.
What exactly was hurting on your body?
I think my foot's broken and my shoulder and my back, everything feels pretty broke right now. The doctor tried to get me to not skate, and I basically told him he's going to have to fight me.
Are you going to be able to take your 4th and 5th run?
I'm taking every run.
How were you able to muster up the strength to even come back out here and then take another run?
I don't know what it is since it lives inside me, but it has a lot of determination. It's a fire that just keeps burning.
Fear, you are not going to stop me. I got too far. I've come too far to give up now. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your dream. You got to believe one day it's going to be your moment. One day you're going to own the moment. Listen to me. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men. Many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You got this far. If you was going to quit, you should have quit a long time ago. You got too far. You've come too far to quit now. Show me that nothing is impossible.